Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm Danny Flores, your host, and today our honored guest is Hernan Ricuarte, zooming in from Portugal on vacation. Hernan has experience in operations professionally with over 20 years of international operations management experience in both manufacturing and healthcare. A proven track record in identifying continuous improvement opportunities, implementing programs, and driving growth. His specialties are in developing and driving operational growth initiatives and management in the US and Japan. Welcome, Hernan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks for taking the time out on vacation. But tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got this experience, both in the US and Japan.
Sure. Well, I grew up in California, and after getting an economics degree from San Diego State, I went to Japan thinking I was going to learn Japanese, get a job back in the U.S. After a little bit of experience in Japan. But oftentimes, as life goes, things don't go as you necessarily initially plan them. So I ended up living in Japan for a few years, got a job at a medical device company in Japan, and worked at other small organizations in both the US and Japan. Went back to Japan for a period of time. And really, after having a career in healthcare mainly for about 20 years, at that point in time, my father, who was in contract manufacturing, was thinking of selling the business. My sister and I took a look at it, and I decided to give it a shot. So that was back in 2016 when I got involved in the family business, which is what I do now. So we have a contract manufacturing business. We make custom parts for aerospace, space, and defense companies in Southern California, in Orange County.
That must be interesting times right now to be in that business, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it's always an interesting time, and for me, it was a massive learning curve in a completely different industry. But like with most organizations, you have similar issues, with people, with industry, with the economy. Right now, yes, the worst thing a small business wants is, not having a good read of where you're at, and instability is not good. So, yes, for us, the tariffs are a massive question. Every week is different. There's a volatility in not only the pricing, but also the ability to source material. And again, we're not just talking about raw material. We're talking about tools. We're talking about everything. It's a domino effect, right? Everything's being affected by the changes in the tariffs.
Are you guys importing almost everything, or is some of it from the States?
Some of it's from the States, but again, we're talking about, very specific aerospace materials, steel, aluminum, titanium, Inconel. And so we don't have all of these sources in the US, and we don't have all of the, not only the raw minerals that are used in these materials, but we don't have the institutions that make the material necessarily in the US either. So we have to rely on Europe and Japan and different areas outside of China and Korea and Russia, of course. But still, once we don't play nice with our our Canadian, European, and Asian friends in business, then things get a little bit complicated, especially for smaller businesses that are sort of sandwiched between the OEM, the manufacturer, the defense companies, and the vendors. So it is a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now taking one step back, did you learn how to speak Japanese? Just
Yes, yes, of course.
so I figured that so you're probably fluent there, right? In the Japanese.
Yeah, pretty fluent.
So now does because you did mention Japan, some of the maybe raw materials or tools come from there. Does having been in Japan have helped you create relationships out there for access to the to materials or tools that you need?
So n not well, yes and no. So most of the capital equipment that we purchase is Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So the Japanese and Germans are very well respected for their engineering and their manufacturing prowess, especially with CNC,
Mm-hmm.
equipment that we use in order to remove material and to make these parts. So having
Mm-hmm.
those relationships does help. Um, sometimes the technicians, the engineers from those companies, may not speak English that well.
Mm-hmm.
So having those relationships as well as tooling. So the tooling, the Japanese companies make incredible tools for removal of these, you know, um, hard materials
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to create these and remove material and create these complicated geometries is where the Japanese excel. So in that way, having those relationships and being able to understand the language and the culture helps.
Mm-hmm.
Relative to raw material and things like that, it's beyond our control because that we're
Mm-hmm.
limited to sourcing material from local distribution centers. So that have the the processes and infrastructure in place in order to import the material from overseas.
Yes, understood. Now in coming back to the family and taking over the family business,
Hmm.
how was that transition, um, taking over from your father? And is he still part of it, or did he stay for a certain time to kind of consult with you guys and make sure you guys get off on the right footing? And then the other
Hmm.
half of it is, um, how about the growth?
Mm.
The vision and the ability and the desire to grow the business, double, triple, quadruple the size of the business? What does
Mm.
that look like?
Yeah, so maybe it's I think every situation is a little bit unique. Mine is unique in its own way in the sense that I came into the business in my mid 40s. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I'd already been around and so I wasn't a kid and my father wasn't looking at me as, this kid coming in not knowing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the same time, I was very open about my, vulnerability and my lack of knowledge of the industry and things like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but at the same time, my father was ready to walk away. We're not big on, legacy and history, and we don't have like a bunch of pictures of my father up on the wall and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, we like growth, we like business, we like to take care of our employees and our customers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I walked in, my father understood that, I wanted to grow the business. And in order to grow the business, we'd have to do things differently. So he was
Mm-hmm.
extremely understanding. He built a good, solid foundation. But, we didn't necessarily have all the processes and procedures in place. We hadn't really invested in newer technologies. So that was something that I took on and have been driving very aggressively over the past 9 years. So as an example, we bought large 5-axis pallet systems, with a lot of automation, lathes, mills, wire EMs with,
Mm-hmm.
automation, built into it. We transitioned to, digital ERP systems, machine monitoring systems, digital quoting systems, digital quality management systems. So, it's required a lot of groundwork, planning,
Mm-hmm.
measuring our ROI and things like that. So, in that sense, I was in a very, I was given the opportunity to really, make some mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and to make some aggressive investments from the beginning. And again, not all of them have panned out, but we've been doing pretty well. So we've been growing a little over 20% year over year the last,
Wow.
3.5, almost 4 years. And yeah, so we're a little over triple the size of what we were, 8, 9 years ago.
Wow, no, that's amazing. It's I guess the new mindset, the new experience that you brought in helped the business grow. Now, did you ever think that you would do that even as in your younger years, or it just
No.
kind of happened?
No. I did. I know. So my experience was when I was maybe in junior high school or freshman year of high school, I came in to help my father measure some gauges or pins with a
Hmm.
micrometer, and I made a mistake. He yelled at me, and I thought, gee, I'm never coming
I'm
back
out.
here again. So honestly, I mean, I stepped foot in my father's business maybe three times over the 30-year period
Hmm.
before I came in and started getting involved day to day.
Hmm. How about your sister? Is she also involved?
She's involved like on a board level, so she's is very supportive and from a board level, she comes in on some consultation projects and things like that. She has a finance background
Hmm.
and so it's worked out well. We have a really good relationship. She's my only sibling, and yeah, and I think she and I are on the same page relative to wanting to drive growth.
Hmm. And is your dad still involved, or he's?
No. My dad is a avid cyclist, so dad is going to be 86 next month,
Oh, wow.
and no, and he's super healthy and super fortunate. But no, he wants nothing to do with the business. Happy it's growing, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's good.
That is awesome. So that means like, you hear different stories of how the family business transitions to the children
Hmm.
and even the grandchildren in some cases, and how some children,
Drama,
yeah, it could be drama, or
yeah,
it could be, because I know of some that the children think it's just walking into money, and it's just going
yeah,
to be money just flowing in, and there's no need to
stress,
work
pressure,
hard. Yeah,
yeah,
and it looks like you did it totally different, which is really cool that you said no. The business is the business, and I'm going to improve it and make all these improvements, which cost a lot of money and a lot of
right.
planning,
Hmm.
and you strategically did that, and you're getting the results. I mean, it's amazing to see a business grow 20% year over year for the last 4 years. That's amazing growth to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And so I'm sure your father's proud of what you've done, and then I don't know if you have children, and what do you think about that, having them come into the business?
No, yeah, well, I've got two boys. Similar situation to you. They're a little bit younger. My older son's 20, my younger son's 16. So no, they're doing great in school. They're both, great athletes and great kids, but I don't see them, being involved in the business. I mean, maybe if you can never say never, but no, I want them to pursue their own thing and then be successful in
Mhm.
whatever they want to try pursuing.
Maybe they do it like you, that you had no idea that you wanted any part of it, and as you develop and whatnot, then later on they say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I can get involved."
Could be. No, you're right. No, and if that's what they want, great. But personally, I mean, I would much rather them at minimum, pursue a career and after 5 to 10 years, if that's what they want to do, then, they're welcome to do it. But, again, they would have to be involved, without, as you mentioned,
Hmm.
sunglasses that are not realistic, and they'd have to come in understanding that nothing is easy.
Yeah, no. I like that. I like that you said, everybody takes in talking to different business owners that have had their children be part of the business. I've seen kind of both ways where they bring him in like right out of high school, maybe no college, or maybe even right out of college,
Yeah,
straight in, and they start them at way at the bottom and kind of have to work their way up. And then I've seen kind of what you just said, and kind of how I'm doing it, is that they know they have to go out, they have to get finish college, they have to struggle a little bit, right? Learn somewhere,
exactly. Hmm.
understand that when you have a job, you have to work and you have to
Right.
perform. And I think that's part of the training, in a sense, where they learn that nothing's free. They learn that life
Hmm.
has challenges, and you build some skills in overcoming challenges, whether it's figuring it out on your own or learning to talk to a mentor, talk to a coach, talk to somebody that can help you overcome those hurdles.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think I tried to be a good father, but I'm not qualified to be their mentor in their careers.
Yeah,
So they need to go to someone else for that.
it's good. I think it's good for them to hear it from other people.
Exactly.
And because that way they're going to, I mean, us as fathers, we're always going to try to help them, but
Hmm.
then they get a little bit of what we say, they get a little bit of what they say, and they kind of piece it together for them and what
Hmm.
works for them. Um, and it's kind of the fun part, right? The journey of being a parent, and you are not always right. Sometimes we make mistakes too,
Yeah.
but you just
And
keep.
then absolutely, I 100% agree. They need to make mistakes. They need to suffer,
Mhm.
in order to appreciate, what's involved and appreciate their successes as well.
Right, right, right. And then that way they build, they're kind of battle tested, they build their character, they become resourceful because I
Hmm.
mean when we run into issues, we have to turn to somebody. Sometimes we make that one phone call and we say, "Hey, what do you think?" or "Can you help me with this?" And we build our team, right? Our team, our
Hmm.
support team. They have to have that on their own. And you may be part of it or you may not, and that's okay, right? At the end,
Right. Right.
it's just a part of it. But no, it seems like you guys are doing great things, and congratulations on that. And
Thanks,
as
Danny.
as we get ready to wrap up our interview, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like?
Oh my gosh, the next 6 to 12 months is a lot more heavy lifting.
Hmm.
So, from a micro level operationally, we started with a really solid digital ERP system about 3 years ago. But again, things develop, things change.
Hmm.
Business is business, so we're transitioning to yet a more advanced digital ERP system, and we're working to integrate all of our digital platforms together. We're hiring new programmers, new machinists, new quality personnel, HR managers, and things like that. So we're very, very busy growing the business, being onboarded by new customers, being involved in more projects and things like that. So it's just extremely busy for us right now. So the next, 6, 12, 18 months is just improving, in what we do
Hmm.
and to continue to develop our team.
That is awesome. Now, if somebody's listening to us and they'd like to get a hold of you for one reason or another, maybe they're looking for a job, they know exactly what you're looking for, or any other reason, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, with email is great. I live off of my Outlook calendar and email. So my email is Hernan, Hernan, at ricarteprecision.com, Ricaurte precision.com.
Very good. Well, Hernan, thanks so much for coming on the show. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. Thanks so much,
Thanks a
Hernan.
lot. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
Real quick, I like to record my final notes. So here's what's going to happen. It'll take us about 3 weeks or so to publish. We're
Mhm.
going to make some shorts for you. If you have social media presence, we're going to send them to you. You
Awesome.
can make it easy for you to post. So that'll be easy and nice for that. And then the last part is that we work with business owners such as yourselves in the multifamily investment space, primarily in multifamily value add deals, and where we're able to produce double-digit returns and great tax benefits. Is that something that you'd be interested in looking at and learning more about?
Yeah, I'd be open to it, Danny.
Okay, let me pull up my calendar right here, and it's about a half hour presentation that I would talk about that. Let me pull up my calendar and see if we can schedule something real quick. Okay, so that would be next month. Um,
Hmm.
July. What does first, second, or third look like for you?
Yeah, I'm just going to be getting back to the US on the
Or
2nd,
any week
Danny.
of that
Yeah,
month?
so the week of 7, 8, 9 would be better for
Okay.
me.
Or you're okay. How about what day? Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday?
Tuesday is more open for me at the moment.
Okay. I only have one opening at 5 p.m. Is that too late for you, or does that
No, it's all
work?
right. Well, we can make that
Okay.
work.
All right.
Yeah, and Danny, if you can send me a calendar invite, I'd be grateful.
I will. I'll send you a calendar
Okay.
invite. I'll text you just to make sure you got it because of the issues that we had.
Yeah, that was weird, and I felt bad.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. And then what I do have on that link, I'll have a YouTube video on there that I talk about my background and how I got into this, so you can get to know me a little bit better before the
Okay.
call. If you have a chance, check it out. It's about 20 minutes or 15 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
Other than that, thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations on what you're doing and your business, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds awesome. And if you ever need to feel like going to Europe, Lisbon is a great place, man.
Oh, I love Europe. Last year I went to Spain and Bordeaux, south of France.
Nice.
I've been wanting to go to Croatia. I've been wanting to go Croatia
Oh,
and
yeah.
Japan are my
Got it.
next two countries, but I can mix them up. I have no problem. I love
Yeah.
European countries.
Yeah, no, it's just yeah, it's just a nice vibe. I don't know if I could live here for a long
Yeah.
period of time. I'd probably want to kill somebody, but
Yeah.
to vacation and relax, it's a nice place for sure.
Nice, nice. No, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And maybe if I ever plan a when, no, not if, when I plan a trip to
A
Japan,
Japan trip.
give me some tips
No,
on where to
absolutely.
go.
Yeah. And whatever you're into, Danny.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, for sure. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, Hernan. Then
All right.
let's stay in touch and then I will talk to you in a couple of weeks and safe travels.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very
Great
good. Thanks.
connecting.
Have a good one
All
now,
right.
huh?
You
Sure.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.